Hi guys.
We're out in nature today.
We're in my old golf course.
Yes.
So I used to be president of this.
Well, actually, Jared's best mate claimed this as his when we were here adventuring. He named it, he decided that it's his place.
Oh, well,
He named it Tony's Views.
He's going to have to come up and see me.
Well, which is rude because I'm the one who took the boys here when we were adventuring around Mount Dandenong.
Venturing.
Yeah. It's a really cool spot. You probably would have noticed this. Well, you might have seen. Where would we have YouTubes on this? Of us being here? Yeah, we do.
Plenty.
Yeah, so we do a lot of photo shoots up here, and it's right near Peter's place. So we thought we'd come here and because it's spring. Spring has sprung.
We got sprung and we went walkies and ended up here.
Oh.
No, it's just a really nice sunny day, and we thought instead of being
Inside.
And it's a sort of a flat day.
What do you mean?
Well, after yesterday.
Oh yes, because we're a bit tired.
We're a bit tired.
We had a portfolio builder yesterday, which is always a lot of work for both you and I.
Yes, it's a massive amount of work.
I'm very sore. Even as everyone was leaving, they were saying bye and thanking me for all. They were like, oh, "You've been running around like a headless chook all day," which I was. Lifting things. Well, I don't have to go to the gym now.
You don't do as much lifting as you did yesterday.
Yeah, I did a lot of lifting yesterday. I built clamshell lighting yesterday. Well, kind of. I didn't fine tune it, but I built it.
You built it.
I was so proud of myself.
Well, it's different with yesterday. It sort of finalised something with me that our brand has changed a lot.
I've noticed it has. But, for the good though,
I don't think, sorry, I said that wrong. I don't think our brand has changed, but we're attracting
a different audience.
And we've said this quite a few times before, but what it's meant is the portfolio builder was just like the easiest sellout workshop we could run. It just sold out.
Yeah.
And it was because there's so many people that think a workshop is I turn up and get to shoot girls.
Yeah,
I get to shoot the models I wouldn't normally
shoot. Yeah.
And there might be some lighting that I don't normally shoot, and that's a workshop. No, that's what we call a shoot 'em up day, or as we do it, as a portfolio builder, and a sort of a standard size for a portfolio. It's a good portfolio for a starting person to present to an agency or a model to see if they can get some models. It's about 12 photos, 12 different shoots. So the way we run it is like 12 different shoots for a day. So they walk away with a 12-shot portfolio.
Yeah.
But my job's cut out really hard as is. So I've got to do 12 lighting setups complete in the day. But now the people are coming to the portfolio builder are wanting to do a workshop.
They're wanting to learn.
So then, like you said, there's more time. You've never seen girls sort of sitting, not being shot.
Because you'd move on to set up the next lighting and then
they'd all just...
Okay, and they'd run over and learn from you. They weren't interested in standing there shooting the girls. They're more interested in coming over and learning what you were doing during your setup and stuff.
Which is more what my brand is teach people how to do something so when they go out tomorrow they can do it themselves.
Yeah, which is what we've always said. There's the difference with our workshops is because you want to give people the tools so that the next day when you're not with them and they can do it all themselves. Because there's certain workshops that you go to and sure you're going to walk away with an amazing photo, but the next day you're not going to have that set, you're not going to have that stylist, you're not going to have that hair and makeup artist, there's all these things that you're not going to have, but you strip it back and be like, you don't need that. You can just.
Well, it's some of pretty much like you said. Some of them you get this amazing gown, amazing hair and makeup, this amazing set.
Yeah.
And you shoot it knowing that I can't reproduce this tomorrow.
But everyone walks out with the same photo.
Yeah, and everyone walks home with the same photo, which looks like nothing like else that they've ever shot. Yeah. So even if they put it in their portfolio, it's like this, bang, then this is what happened there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a great photo, but it's just going to stand out.
It's going to be different to what. Yeah. And and then that's not what you actually want in your folio because that's not who you are. You've now done somebody else. Now, Eve, and with the portfolio, everyone's coming and learning they're coming to shoot my lighting setups. Well, that's not their lighting setups.
Yeah.
That's my lighting setups. And a lot of my setups are a little bit more pushed towards the black and white. So there's certain things I can do that if it was colour, my shadows might be a bit yucky in colour.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that.
So we might change it a bit.
We might.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can change it to suit the brand a bit better.
Suit the brand a bit better.
Yes. And I don't have any makeup on today because I forgot it because I was tired this morning. That's okay. We've all seen me without makeup anyways. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
I hardly wear makeup anymore anyways.
So just for Clef, no, Bec and I are not a photo couple.
We're not a couple, full stop.
I think we still have to say this
feel like
every
we still have
episode.
to say it. Oh my God.
Are you a photo couple?
No.
We're not a couple, we're a few. There's 3 of us.
A few different personalities. I mean, I guess people are new here and so they don't get it, but no.
That's what I said, we're going to have to do it every time.
Yeah.
Or we just get shirts made. I'm not with him. I'm not always her.
Oh my God, spring has definitely sprung in Mozzie Bites.
I saw one Mozzie. Then a couple.
I think this was from last night. It really bit my elbow. Bloody springtime. Sorry for everyone overseas where it's going into winter and we're going into summer.
Oh, look at the smile going your face.
I love the warmth.
Another thing I wanted to mention is I gave Vero a try.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Peter McKinnon. I jumped on there and thought, yeah, this is fresh and new, like a holiday. A month later,
It's
a bit boring. Another month later, this is a horrible site.
So
I'm seeing nothing. Everything here is just, like, I'm not saying they're bad photographers, it's just boring.
Yeah.
And even on the workshop yesterday, someone said, what do you mean by boring? Said anything, I'd just go flick, flick, flick and not stop. And they're looking at me and said, isn't that all of social media? And I said, no. There's certain things, and I've heard Tumblr's back in the way of they're allowing certain types of nudity, like fashion, like things. They're just not allowing pornography. I don't know how they're going to. What's a porn set of boobs and a fashion set of boobs?
I think it's, I don't know.
Maybe if it's explicit, we'll find out soon enough. But
Yeah, I think if it's explicit. I think like a girl like posing for like a fashion magazine and wearing like unless she might be topless or wearing something sheer, like that's fashion. But if it's like, I don't know, explicit.
I'm going to check it out just to see.
Posing.
And the reason I'm excited for that is a lot of my favourite fashion magazines.
Have a lot of nudity.
Well, they have some, and Tumblr used to be where I'd get my feeds to all these magazines. They'd take up to 2 to 3 months.
There's a bee. Oh my
That's
God.
right. It's not a bee, it's a wasp. They're worse.
No.
A bee can only sting you once. A wasp can still you for the rest of his life. Bec and nature, they just fit together hand in hand. So
And I go
lovely.
to festivals. God.
It's gone.
I know, thank God. I'm still on the lookout for it.
It's all right.
Anyway, sorry.
It's a leaf. Oh, I think this is a really bad idea. Nature and Bec. In fact, yeah, but at a festival, you've got other sort of things that are helping you get through.
Perhaps. Anyway,
Perhaps.
sorry. You got feeds to magazines on Tumblr.
Yeah, and those magazines would not be available in Australia for up to 3 or 4 months.
Right.
And there was only one, there was a place called Magnation, which was amazing. I used to spend
that?
3 to 5 little...
Is that the store,
in
Elizabeth Street?
Elizabeth Street, yeah. I used to spend between 300 and 500 a month in that store.
Oh my gosh.
No, serious. So, well, you saw all the mags that we
Yeah.
end up throwing out. But some of those mags are all expensive. There's one mag I really liked was Numero, and I think that was around about 60 Australian dollars.
Jeez.
So it wasn't hard. And ID was another one I loved. There was an In Style magazine, which is, I think, out of Italy. That was an incredible mag, but I think they were only $90 each, but they were like that fat.
Yeah.
And it was just full of awesome
Fashion.
shoots. Fashion. Anyway, so I'd get all my previews of all that stuff would come through Tumblr. So I followed the bloggers that were into that really high-end fashion. And on the workshop yesterday, someone said, well, well, social media is just boring. I said, no, watch this, watch my Twitter. And I said, I'm not a Twitter fan. I've only been on it really. I've been on it for years and years, but I don't actually use it. But now I've been on it and curated it a little bit. I now are following the people that are giving me fashion feeds. And with that, they were all looking. I said, watch this. And I just start scrolling through and say, oh, look at that. How cool is that? And 3 or 4 more pictures. Look how cool that. And they saw straight away that we don't get this in any of our feeds.
Yeah, true.
But I did spend a little bit of time finding there's certain magazines I followed, and I found certain socialites within a certain area of the fashion industry. So I knew that where they're hitting is not the boring stuff, is more the interesting stuff. And then you look at who they're following, and then you can find some other people and you look at who they're following, and it's a rabbit hole. It takes a little bit of time, but once you start following a few and let your feed start running out, this one's boring, let's flick that one back out. All of a sudden and mine's a mixture of predominantly now art, a little bit of photography. Well, I call photography art. Right, so art, photography art, which meant it's not boring at all. Even some of the landscape and that pictures are just incredible because they've been taken through the eyes of an artist, which means exposures and things like that are wrong, which make them so interesting.
I remember at high school, I did 2 different photography subjects. And yeah, idiot me, for year 12, I did 2 photographies and 1 media, which means I had to do 3 folios for my year 12 final thing. Do you have any idea how annoying that was?
Don't you just do the 1 folio? It's 3 different teachers. Hand it in.
No, I couldn't do that.
Shit, that was the easiest way.
No, because I had to be on different things. But my 2 different photography ones I did, one subject was called art photography and the other was called studio art photography. But I remember in art photography being taught all these rules, 3-point lighting and rule of thirds and leading lines and stuff. I'm like,
that's not art.
Isn't this art though? I remember having a little bit of a headbutt, but not so much a headbutt because my teacher was really cool. Asking him why are there rules? Isn't this supposed to be art? And he's like, no, you need to learn the rules and then you can break the rules. I'm like, okay, I understand the rules. So now I'm going to break them for my folio because this is the look I want. He's like, no, I need you to follow these rules. I'm like, this is not making sense. This is frustrating.
It's like Lindsay. Lindsay's a model from LA Arizona, sorry. And she's in Australia at the moment. And to try and get a 3-year visa, because she's only young, what's she, 20? 20. And she wants to get a visa, stay here 3 years because we have great beaches. She loves surfing. She's a surfing nut, she decided she worked out. She took on this TAFE course on photography. I said, Lindsay, why would you do this? And she says, well, it's only get a visa. I said, I'll sit down with you a crash course in 2 days. I'll teach you everything you need to know and understand. And she goes, yeah, it's really annoying, even though they say it's you're free to explore and do everything. They keep on saying, your pictures are too dark. And Lindsay goes, I like them like that.
So I wanted that. Yeah, I remember being taught 3-point lighting and I was like, but what if I don't want it evenly lit like this? What if I want it to be less shadowed? No, that's not 3-point light. But I don't want my photo looking like this. I want it lit like this. No. You can't do that. That's not the rule. It's stupid anyway.
You have to do 3-point lighting.
Oh, I hate 3-point lighting. It's so boring and flat.
So boring and flat.
And it was. I hated it.
You hated it.
I think from memory I did okay. Oh, actually, I recently found, because someone asked me, one of the comments, if I do photography, and yeah, obviously I did it in high school, and I really loved it back then, but I don't know,
I know, so I gave you a camera and you haven't used it, so you must really hate it.
No, I do want to, but I just...
Although you do a little bit of photography. You sent some nice photos about 6 in the morning of you sort of... Someone who's pathetically scared about tight spaces. And there's this little hole and I see his dangling legs come out them and his big smiley face at the end.
I was at a warehouse party. It was fun. What was I going to say?
I don't know, you lost your thoughts.
Oh yeah, I recently found on my hard drive all my old photos from school, like when I had to hand in like my phone. Oh my God, it's so cringeworthy. It was so bad.
So we're going to share this?
No, we're not. It's so cringy.
I'm happy to share. I shared my
That's nice
liquid.
for you.
That's nice for me.
That sounds like a you thing. I don't. No, it was really. I did like. I don't think I've.
So
got
you
all of
thought
them.
you were really cool
I
back
thought
then.
I was so cool. I did some
Now
like.
you're looking at them now going,
Oh, so bad. I did like some like Disney thing, but like it's kind of like evil, like broken Disney. It's so me, especially because I was a little scene kid at the time. And, oh, it was so cringy. It was so cringe. I did one with my friend. Oh, she's she's such a legend for doing this. And I did it like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, who's the sea witch, and she's like an octopus lady. So I went to the Vic Markets and got an octopus and put it on her head and went down to the pier. She had an actual octopus on her head.
and if I tried to do that with you, there'd be no hope in the world.
She could feel the beak like sticking into
Yeah.
her head. But because she
But
was
you used that as the hair clip to hold it in place.
she was like holding it. Oh my God. The photos are very bad because quite clearly she was not comfortable with an actual octopus on her head. So her face like, oh, it was funny. Things I make my friends do. This is why I never made it as a photographer.
Decided to be a model instead and put octopuses on your head.
Yuck. Anyway. No, I would not share those photos. But if I actually start taking photos with my film camera, which I want to, I can take some over New Year's when I go to... I need to get tickets for that. Doof. Over Christmas.
Over
No, over New Year's, sorry.
With
Anyway.
anyway.
What were you going to say?
Well, I actually was on Saturday. I decided that I couldn't edit for another second longer, and sat on the couch and watched the end of Euphoria.
Oh, yes. I like that show. It's a good show.
If you haven't seen it,
It's very good.
I hated it when I first started watching it because to me it was degrading really bad to women and setting this is why the world is the way it is because the women are brought up in school to accept these disgusting things, and then they start fighting over being better at it. Like they don't seem to be worried about some of the stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, that's a nice little play the movie does to sort of turn it all back. And yeah, by the end of the second season, especially the play thing, really brought home the hidden story underneath without throwing in your face. The people who are awake will get it, and it's very clever how they've done it. And I actually really, really enjoyed it.
It's a really good show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm just annoyed that we've got to wait like 2 years for the next season now.
Yeah, but they're already way older than what their characters are. In 2 years, they're going to age a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And they're only going to be a year later? Or they're going to say, oh, now this is when they're all getting married?
I don't know. Well, actually, they're not that much older than what they say they are. A lot of those actors are really young. The oldest one is Maddie, and she's my age. The girl with the dark hair.
Yeah, what about the main...
Zendaya's only like, I don't know, mid-20s maybe?
She seemed older. I don't know. I saw that interview. Remember? Oh, no, what was that thing we watched when we saw her? It was sort of like... She looks like she's just continuing on playing her part out of the movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't...
I think it was a Vogue Questions thing.
Vogue, yeah, because it didn't seem like she was real. It felt like I'm just continuing outside of this series.
Yeah. No, it's a really good series, so I highly recommend people watch it if you have not seen it already.
So I watched that, and then I edited the... I had the YouTube that's gone up this week.
Oh, yes.
Of Bloom.
Yes.
And I finished that and I was so happy. So it took me a while to get going, then I got through it really quick. So I decided to watch this movie that it's only because my wife she'd been cooking for half the day towards the workshop thing. So she wanted to have a break. And she said, is there a movie I can just watch? I just want a break for an hour or an hour and a half. And I saw this thing that was like, it said something like apocalyptic. I'm going to have to look it up now. But it's just like it's a made up town, because I don't think they knew what to call it. But it's something like, I'd say, in the tornado alleys in America. So it's a little country town in that sort of environment.
It's a doggo.
Well, that's because it's now... Sorry, interrupt you. It's really funny. Whenever I'm tagging this place on Instagram, it comes up as dog park.
Off-lead dog park.
Off-lead dog park. So I take models to off-lead dog parks. So reading it, I just thought, my wife will love this. It'll be brain dead apocalyptic type movie where the whole town will be completely wiped out. But I'm just going to watch it and see where it went. And the movie was so different to what I thought it was going to be. It was a little bit slow and hard to get going, but it was so sort of pointing out the problems with that part of America, the way they are with religion, with...
I think I remember you telling me about this yesterday morning.
Yeah, and it just got heavier and heavier. And like the Mexicans that jumped the border and that, and how they were treated by the farmers. This is all leading up before this apocalyptic tornado. And then how the sort of the people were treating each other just based on things like religion, based on where you were born, who you voted for. And it was actually ended up a really good movie, except for the tornado, but it was just wank. But the rest of the movie was, and at the end, after this devastation happened, and literally there was nothing in the entire town still standing. Everything was flattened.
Was everyone nice to each other again? Spoiler.
No, there was half.
Oh.
So you actually saw some of the people actually being human, and you saw the others never changed. They actually weren't worse. No, you're Mexican. I'm not going to help you. I'm not having Mexican blood spill in my van. That all of that type of thing. Which
I need a note to find out what it's called, so I can put that down below. I'll do my job.
But then to finish off on the movies that night, after I cooked the worst hamburger I've ever made in my life, I don't know what I did to it. I only ate half of mine. It went to the dogs. I watched Rara's boyfriend, Richard Hughes. His first movie ever. So for someone to have their first movie, and he has
Antonio Banderas
as the lead actor in it, that's pretty good. It's your first, and Rara's actually in it, which is, she plays perfect, completely drugged out, messed up blonde. You couldn't get a better person to be completely zoned out. And they didn't have a massive budget, but I'd say the budget of the movie would have been less than the sound budget for most movies. But I actually really enjoyed it because I know, because Richard, another dog.
It's the same dog.
Oh, it's the same dog.
Hi, dog. Sorry. I get really distracted by dogs.
You do get very distracted by life. Because Richard's an Aussie. He has his Aussie twist. I could feel bits in the story that were very much like some of the really good sort of nasty type of punch-up type movies from Australia, then cleaned up a bit with the American cinematography and that. But yeah, absolutely enjoyed it. So it's called The Enforcer, isn't it? Yeah, we'll put a link to it if you want to support Rara and her partner.
Yes.
Rent it, buy it.
Yes.
Don't steal it.
Don't steal it.
Like Bec does.
I don't steal things. I tried my own.
You don't steal things.
I don't. I tried
Machine Gun Kelly's movie.
Because I couldn't watch it anywhere else.
So you stole it?
Well, because I physically couldn't watch it anywhere.
You could have put it on hold and waited till it became legally viable for you.
Who knows when that'll be? Well, I get really annoyed.
I suppose it was that bad a movie. It was going to end up in the bin.
I get really annoyed by this. But I remember before Spotify was a thing, I used to download a lot of songs from LimeWire and put them on my iPod.
Len and Nikki were banned from that. They hated me. But I said, I will pay for it.
All right, well,
You're not stealing people's music.
My parents wouldn't pay for it, and I didn't have a job because I didn't have a job when I was a teenager. I didn't have a job until I finished high school. Privileged. What? Anyways, I didn't have my own money to go out and spend all this money on albums, but I remember
if you did, it would have gone on drink anyway,
probably,
and cigarettes.
But I remember before Spotify was a thing, I remember saying, I kind of described Spotify to someone. I was like, I would more than happily pay a certain amount per month and just be able to listen to music, but I don't want to go out and spend like however much an album used to cost back in the day.
And there are only like 2 songs on the whole
exactly.
And yeah, the single didn't have the proper version of the song I wanted. It was some shortened radio crapped version of it.
Yeah. So it was just such a pickle, and I was like, I don't want to buy. So, and I remember just saying like describing basically like Spotify.
Although
and then,
you weren't buying albums or singles.
What do you mean?
Were you buying vinyl?
No, CDs.
Yeah, right. So did they have single CDs?
Yeah.
Oh,
The single
Can't
had like
remember
4
that.
or 5 songs on it.
oh.
It had like
See,
it normally had like the song.
I never bought singles.
It had
so-
like the radio version of the song, and then maybe like a remix, and then maybe some other crappy song that no one liked on it, and that was what was on a single CD.
Oh.
And then there was albums, and then you might only like 2 songs off the album. Anyways, and then when Spotify came out, I was like, this is exactly what I want, and I've got no problem paying for premium Spotify. The people that don't have premium Spotify, I'm like, what are you doing? It's like $12, $13 a month. You get access to like almost every song.
What happens if they don't have a job? You couldn't afford $12 or $13 a month when you were stealing music?
Okay, I know people that have full-time jobs and still don't have premium Spotify. I'm like, come on. Come on.
I find that a little bit with YouTube. I could never watch YouTube without.
Oh, I don't pay for premium YouTube though.
Yeah, but see, I don't get it. I couldn't stand the ads. That would drive me up the wall, and it's not that expensive.
I don't watch as much YouTube as you watch though, so for...
Yeah, I must say, I do, because I find YouTubers really, really good. Like, so, there's some really, really good sci-fi sites that have little short
Yeah,
sci-fis.
I don't watch that stuff.
No, but there's also this horror, little short horrors, and some of them are scary as hell. Some of them are really, really well done. So sometimes I'll just watch a very short movie each night, but yeah.
I don't know, like I don't watch a great deal of YouTube. Like I watch like a decent-ish amount, but I don't know, like I can put up with the ads, except for the odd video that I watch that they have an ad every 5 minutes. That kind of irritates me.
Yeah, but we've done that mistake.
Yeah, we have.
If you click mid-roll ads
So, yeah,
and you don't go in yourself, they can
Some
put
of our podcasts, they put it like every minute.
every
I'm
minute.
Sorry,
they,
guys.
YouTube puts an ad on
does that.
every single minute. It's like,
We've got to fix
no, I think
that.
it was every 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was just
it was
irritating.
ridiculous.
Yeah. But like, if I'm watching something that goes for a while and there's like an ad every like 10, 15 minutes, that'd be like if I was watching free-to-air TV anyways. And I don't complain watching free-to-air TV about that, so...
You see,
Well, I don't know.
no, I don't complain. I just turn off them. It's because because I've been on YouTube for a long time without ads. As soon as if you turn on, go to watch it, and this ad comes up first, like, come on, get this top. I just want to see if it's any good. Oh no, that was a dud one. I go to the next one now. See another ad. That's what annoys me, because I'll do quick. I only need to watch the first 3 or 4 seconds, or I'll quickly zoom. No, this isn't going to work. Yeah. Now I've got to watch another ad to see the next.
Fair. Jared has premium YouTube, and it's funny because we'll quite often on the weekends we'll sit on the couch and connect our phones to YouTube on the PlayStation, and then we queue songs on YouTube and it sends it to the TV.
Oh, so your ones come up with ads and his ones come up
without. So he'll queue something and it comes up without an ad, and then mine will come and be like, oh, well, Bec queued a song. I'm like, the sass of it all. But yeah, no, that does get him. So sometimes I do just steal his phone.
Like, the ads there is for a reason. It is... Like, if we weren't able to monetize YouTube for our normal content, we most likely wouldn't be using it anywhere near as much.
Yeah.
Because it does take a long time to do all the work. We pay our models and we pay all of that. And it takes a lot of views for us to even get even with the models. I think we've got to get to nearly 100K before we've even covered the cost of what we pay a model.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think we cap it at, like, only one ad up to 15 minutes. We'll only allow one ad. There'll be the ad at the start and one ad somewhere through.
We're relatively fair with that. I don't want to spam people with that.
No, either do I. But we still need to cover, or try and cover, our costs. Otherwise, it's no bonus for us to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just a thing.
A thing.
A thing. thing.
What was that thing that you were editing a video the other day and you said something, you're like, well, this is this.
Yeah, and then I was in one of the podcasts, you nearly said the same thing.
This
Yes,
is this.
so I've got it from you.
It's all my fault.
It's most likely a Gail thing, and you've then spread it.
Gail things. Oh, I miss her. She got home yesterday to go around and see her.
That's right, she was away.
She was away.
And you stained her entire house with red wine.
It was so funny. So, quick story time. I spilt red wine on one of my mum's couch cushions because I stayed at hers while she was away. And I kept thinking about it. And I didn't know the extent of the damage, so I drove around to my mum's to clean it up and tried to clean it up, and it wouldn't come out. So I called her to tell her that I've stained her couch cushion, and she told me that she's just going to throw those out anyways because the dogs chewed them. So I drove an hour round trip to my mum's for something that she's going to throw out anyways. Good job.
Good job.
Good
Well
job.
done.
Should have just called her in the first place. Anyways, I was
Yes.
going to ask you a question without notice.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight one duck-sized elephant? No, one elephant-sized duck or 100 duck-sized elephants?
I don't like fighting.
What do you rather?
I'm not going to beat an elephant.
No, so it's one elephant-sized duck, so a duck the size of an elephant.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not going to fight an elephant.
What if there's 100?
An elephant-sized duck would just come down and peck your head off. Have you seen what the inside of their beaks are like? They're pretty rough.
So you'd rather fight 100 duck-sized elephants?
Yeah, they've got trunks. You can just pick up 5 or 6 at a time and throw them.
That's logical, actually.
It'd be really easy.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, I think I'd probably choose that one as well.
Well, yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah, an
And if
elephant-sized duck would be really scary.
Yes.
Actually, we're just on the neat meat. Is a geese the ones that are worse?
A geese, a goose.
A geese is plural, isn't it?
I don't know. You're asking me about English.
It's like okay, but I don't get this. Why is the plural of goose geese, but then the plural of moose isn't meese?
No, because I needed that for mouse.
No,
Lots
that's
of-
mice.
No, it's Mises. I hate Mises to pieces. I hate Mises to pieces. You certainly haven't.
Not heard of that.
You're too young.
I'm old.
All right, you're old. That's a pretty crappy.
No, it wasn't. It was a great question. I loved it.
I've never seen a duck-sized elephant. Elephants are born.
I know. I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically.
Well,
You know,
no, definitely. See, you'd make money out of the tusks of the elephant.
Well, no, that's nasty.
See, that just killed you. So don't give me silly. Where's
I
it?
like
Although duck, you must I think to do some really nice food out of a duck that big, couldn't you?
Oh my god. How are you gonna fight? That'd be a freaking huge duck. It'd be scary. Yeah.
I just don't like fighting. I don't like killing animals either. So
Well, I didn't say kill. I said fight. You didn't have to fight. People fight in
Well, they're
UFC
gonna-
and they don't kill each other.
they would if there wasn't if the guy wasn't standing there to stop them. They'd keep going.
What if there was a referee for your little fight?
You didn't offer me a referee. Anyway, I'd rather not fight. So
Okay.
I'm happy with that. So I was asked another question. Been getting a couple of questions, which is good. It just makes our time a bit easier. At least
Yeah.
we can get something about some type of photography done.
Rather than speaking about meat.
Yeah. I think it's DK Shoots was asking me about photographic packages.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, well, I don't talk about pricing because I don't know where you live. I don't know what your...
What your
It's not like
overheads are.
it's not a cop out, and it's also at your level of your photography and within your industry where you perceive to be. So if nobody's ever heard you and your images don't really attract wow, you can't charge what I'm charging.
Yeah.
But then if you're sitting up like at Peter Lindbergh level, you can charge like 100 times what I'm charging.
Yeah.
So you've got running anything. If you're running a business making duck-sized elephants, You've got to find the quality of your elephants and the market it's going to sell to, and where you sit within that market, that the price is going to be. People are going to say, yeah, well, that seems fair. And so with that, but packaging, we kept our packaging really simple, didn't we? There was just a half day, full day. There was the rate that if I had to do everything, I was an art director and everything.
Mm-hmm. Or just hourly rate.
Or we didn't like hourly rate because...
Yeah, because it got hard if I said like hourly rate, because they were like, oh, well, how long is this going to take? And it's like, how long is a piece of string? Like,
yeah, how good are your models going to be?
Yeah.
How well are you going to be prepared?
or like
So we used to just say, this sounds like it's going to take half a day or a full day. If you don't do your job properly, it'll take longer.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an hourly rate for retouching above what we classed as the quality of image that we would give them.
Yes.
And that was pretty much it. We didn't have any other...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think for a while there was, and for a while when I first started, there was a copy paste for models wanting portfolios, or like people that wanted to be models, and it was either a half day and you'd get 5 retouched images, or a full day and you'd get 10 retouched images.
I hated that.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't a me thing that I came up with.
No, that was somebody else's thing that was before you.
Yes.
Yeah, I hated that, hated working with it, because you'd get someone in on a full day, they couldn't last a full day. So most of the photos got pretty average, and it doesn't work that way. And the way we did it in the end is, we reckon this is going to take 3 or 4 hours, and if it goes longer, this is the hourly rate above that. But in the end, we just stopped it.
Yeah.
And it was just that, but we were pretty, with that, all our commercial, I'm talking more the commercial side, not so much the model portfolio or the models wanting folio shot. A lot of that I knew was going to mean hard work, because if they were willing to pay a photographer to shoot their folio, it meant they're not models.
Yeah.
It meant I was going to have to work really hard, and what turned up and what they wanted to look like. And you saw it plenty of times.
Two different things.
It just...
Chalk and chilies.
Yeah, I look like this person, but I want to look like that person. Well, sorry, your hair colour's different for a start.
Yeah.
So all of that was just too hard, and I never wanted to let anybody down. And it was sort of like... And it was on one or two, there was a female a photographer who actually shot male photographers. The first thing she said when he walked in the door was, "I hate her photo taken."
Yeah, and it's like, well,
Thank you for making my job easy today.
Well, it's like what you tell everyone, you hate you having your photo taken, but a lot of people want selfies with you and stuff. So you just tell yourself, I'm awesome.
Yeah, I found a way around where I can put up with it.
Yeah.
But that's still not for a folio.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, what I was more so getting at is, if you walk in to have your photo taken and the first thing you say is, I hate this, your brain is already thinking, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. Whereas
this is going to be a bad experience.
Yeah. I think I've said that before in something of like project happy, awesome vibes, project confidence. Don't fake it. Like, don't be a fake person like me. I'm so fake.
So fake. Absolutely so fake. But at the end, a lot of my pricing was based on how I would like to be treated as a customer. And I don't care what you're doing. The better experience you can give your customer, the more likely they will return. And getting a return customer is easy. Trying to find a new customer is very hard.
Yeah.
Because once they come the second time, you already know what you're about. You don't have to go through any of that crap anymore. You're already ready, straight to go. Things like upselling or extras, we didn't have, the only extra was retouching.
Yeah.
If you want Peter to remove a pimple because the model turned up, or you've left a crease in a dress is going to properly remove so you can put it 2 meters high. It's going to take half an hour. That's going to cost you $110.
Yeah.
Bring a steamer and take the crease out of the...
Yeah,
I know, but you...
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Or, if you're going to be that fussy about the model's skin, pick a different model. Don't turn up with a model that is going through a pimple outbreak, because for Peter to spend hours cleaning it up to look like it hasn't been retouched, blown up big, and have it clean, it's just,
forever.
it's just not, it's not worth it. So, and I know myself, I expect maybe too much from people I deal with. Like I made a boo-boo. I don't know how I did it, but I'd made the boo-boo.
You employed me.
I made 2 boo-boos. So I don't know why I clicked update on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I was realising it was a whole new operating system. I just thought it was like an updating system. And it's finished updating and done everything, and all of a sudden my 2 main hard drives
Don't work.
came up with promise failure. You delete folder or ignore, and I just hit, and just kept on coming straight away, come back. And I didn't want to delete the folder of my whole RAID system. So I kept it, and then another thing started flicking up. Wacom driver is not, it's broken. Wacom driver is broken. Wacom. I didn't even have Wacom turned on, but it was reading another sidecar of it. I ended up selling it. Well, it's a reinstalled Wacom drive. It's nothing. And I thought, I can just go into Time Machine and go back and just. Time Machine was on one of my promised raids.
Shit.
Which I can't get to.
Shit.
And what really annoyed me is checking up with something. These developers, these RAID systems are recommended by Apple and are sold through Apple. They're very expensive. You would think that they would have been fully updated to the new operating system. And it's not like Apple bring it out today, hey, everyone now get it to work.
Yeah, like
they've sent the stuff out up to 2 months earlier. But some of these companies just, Apple's changing again. We'll get around to it when it suits us.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that's their attitude. Anyway, I've gone in to try and contact Wacom today. So I've gone onto their webpage and I thought I'll just go into chat, because I had chat there. Went straight to a robot. Right, so I put my one question and it came up with all the things that might have been my question that weren't. And I just said, nah, I'll email. I clicked the email button down below and it started giving me drop-down boxes to what I was asking. I couldn't ask what I wanted to ask.
That's annoying.
So there was nothing in there I could do. So there was an Australian number. So I ring the Australian number. Currently, you're rang out of office times. No, we're not. It's 10 o'clock in Australia. The office is open in Sydney, right? No, it sent me back to America call centre. So it's Sunday in America.
God, that's so annoying.
So it's like, how good a customer service is that, where you've got it listed as Australia number and you're shipped over. So you've just got to work out when it's overseas time opening, not Australian time, because you go onto Facebook, which I have the links. You can always go to our social media and it's listed Australia, New Zealand. We are open now.
So I get so annoyed, like with certain, like the amount of times like you've had to call companies and stuff, and even then people, actually, if it's even happened to me, I've had to sort something out and I've called somewhere and they've been like, oh, such and such, I'll give you a call back. I'm so trusting because before I worked for Peter, I used to work for Telstra, which is a telecommunications company in Australia, and I worked in a call centre, and people would call me with problems about like their account and their bills, if they were moving home. Like I did a whole bunch of things. But if I had a customer call in and they had a problem, I would do everything I could to fix it there and then. But sometimes I couldn't, and sometimes I would have to do something, or even sometimes their account would just be totally cooked, and I'd have to call my support team to get them to help me.
To uncook it.
But calling my support team I could be on hold for up to 15 minutes. So I'd go back to my car, I'd tell them I'm just going to put you on hold and call my support. I'd get told hold time's 15 minutes. I'd go back to my customer and be like, hey, I'm on hold. It's going to be 15 minutes for me to get through to them, and then I might be like 15 minutes on the phone. You're more than welcome to sit here on hold for half an hour, or I can give you a call back. And I'd log it in the system I had a scheduled callback, and then the way our floor worked is once that callback was logged, your ass would get kicked if you had an overdue callback. You had to call them. You had a 15-minute window within the time you logged to call them because you'd set the time you were going to call them. Your ass would get whooped if you didn't call them in that amount of time.
But they don't do that now.
Well, that's why I'm so trusting, is because I always made sure every time I told someone I'm calling you back, even if it was to give them crap news, I would always call someone back. And so I'm just so trusting.
And you always bit my head off every time I had to go at call centre people.
It's because I was so good at it. And I'm like...
And you've seen what it's like now.
I used to get my head bitten off quite a bit as well. And it's not fun when you answer the phone unsuspectingly to someone you've never spoken to before screaming at you. And it's like, well, I'm sorry. Like, this is not my fault. I get that you're angry, but I'll fix it. I'm going to try and help fix this for you. Yeah, that's why I just...
What gets me most angry is, I can't remember what it was on. I wanted to speak to their superior. Because they've told me they can't fix the problem. That's fine.
But put me in someone who can.
You can't fix my problem. Can you put me through to someone who can?
Yeah.
Because you told me you can't. So I want to speak to your boss to find out why your company hasn't got the right people answering the phones to fix these problems.
Yeah.
And if he can't fix it, redirect me to someone who can fix it. And they never do.
Yeah.
Well, we found it with a certain... Oh, yeah, no, I won't go there, but... No, we did find it with a company, and all they did was pay back and go, hey, you're going to do this and this and this to you. Don't give me... You know who I'm talking about. I wasn't going to bring it up. Oh, it's YouTube.
Ah, right.
Remember?
Yeah.
We want your superior... that was all through type. It was all through chat.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all these things started to happen, like every time. Oh, yeah. Now, that's the trick. So if you want to speak to our superior, we're going to make your life hard every time you upload.
Yeah. Anyway.
And that's wrong.
It is so wrong.
And I don't care how big your business is. If you're running a one-person show, or like, say me, a two-person show, I still have to support my clients. And go out of my way. And then one thing I hate the worst is at 10 minutes past 5, someone puts an email through of something that Bec handles and I don't handle.
Yeah.
And knowing...
Yeah, that's right.
Especially if they're overseas, they don't know it's actually knock-off time here in Australia, and they won't get answered for 3 days. They won't know.
They don't know where we live. They don't know that we're based in Australia with our accents and with this background.
I don't think they think that, especially, I'm not putting down Americans, but I think a lot of Americans think, oh, it's 9 o'clock American time. That's the time it is around the world.
Actually, I have seen that a lot.
Right. So I'm not having a go at them, but because even when someone from America rings me, oh, it's not 2 in the afternoon now.
No. Well, there's an Australian TikToker that I follow, and she'll post something at night time, and the amount of comments, people are like, go to bed, like, why are you awake? And it's like, you do realise there's this thing called time difference, not dishing Americans.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, but also, I remember we were talking about this the other day, and we kind of agreed to disagree, and obviously, you're my boss, I'm going to go with your business model, and I told you how to do the change password thing now, so you know how to do that now.
But see, this is the difference. I'm working 7 days a week. So if I see it coming through, and I can fix it, I want to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Whereas for me, like, if I was to email a company, especially a small business, over the weekend with a problem, and they didn't get back to me over the weekend, I'd be like, oh, well, it's the weekend, but I'd expect a reply on Monday. But I wouldn't expect a reply over the weekend.
Yeah,
but then your argument
is you got a reply over the weekend, you think, oh, wow, that was good.
No, probably. I'd just be like, oh, okay, cool. But I wouldn't expect it.
No, I'm not saying you expected it if you got it. I have.
I'd be like, oh.
There was something I did not long ago, and I've sent off an email, and it was... Oh, yeah, it was...
I'd probably just be like, oh, sweet, that was sorted sooner rather than later. But I wouldn't, like, jump
No,
up.
it was with Nick, my accountant. Nick sent me an email, and I didn't see it for an hour. I was head buried in editing, so I didn't even hear anything. And I saw it there about an hour later. And I sent Nick back a quick email. Yeah, look, I'm right for whenever. And Nick's just come straight back, and it's 11 o'clock at night. And Nick's pretty high up in his accountant. He's a partner in an accountancy firm. And he's come back, hang on a minute, and introduced me to, is it Andrew? Or whoever we're dealing with now at Tall? Sam. And this is all happening at 11 o'clock at night. And I was pretty impressed that I've got a very, very expensive accountant and owner of a bookkeeping firm at 11 o'clock at night quickly sorting out for a meeting in 2 days' time, or 3 days' time.
Yes.
Right, so but this is what small business does.
Yeah.
Right? If we can do it in a small business, if we employ 10 people, we need to have maybe 10% of what we employed these 10. Sorry, that's a spider.
No, it's not. It was like something.
It was a massive spider. It was about the size.
But
you, as your company grows, should have you've already built in that costs of customer service, so that should grow as you grow.
Customer service is just, it shouldn't be as hard as it. I'm waiting. No. Actually, I need to chase up a refund after we finish. I've been trying to get this refund for a few days now, and they're just not replying to me. And then I went through another avenue of contacting them, and then the person was like, oh, sorry, I'm not authorised to give refunds. You've got to contact this number. I've been trying to contact that number, and they're just not replying to me. So I'm going to call them now. You know me and phone calls. I hate phone calls. But now it's resorting to a phone call. So I've got to make a phone call after this. See, this is what working in a call centre does to you. I have PTSD about phone calls. The amount of times I'd have to make a phone call to like give bad news about something because I'd be trying to fix something. I'm like, I'll give you a call back, and then So
even when my phone rings, Bec will pick it up and run as fast as she can to hand it off to me, so she doesn't have to answer it.
I hate it. Well, the worst is when I was working in a moving home department. And this is before we had NBN and stuff like that. Like we still had ADSL, and certain places couldn't get ADSL. And the amount of times I'd have to give someone a call back to tell them, hey, so I know you're moving into your new house tomorrow. You can't get internet connected there. Do you have any idea how hard that phone call is to make, to tell us? And then they lose their shit at you. And then they tell you that they're running a small business from home and they need to... And I'm like... I can't do anything about this. You can get wireless internet. It's going to cost you $180 a month for 3 gigs of data. That is your only option. Do you know how hard that phone call is to make? People yelled at me. I have this PTSD of like, I'm going to call someone and they're going to yell at me. So, but I'm going to have to
see, if that happened to me, I'd say, just hang on 1 second. I'm the entry-level person. I've got a piece of paper I read off. I don't make these decisions. I have no control over them. If you'd like to yell at someone, I'll put you onto my boss. That's how it would be. If I was in a call centre...
You can't just do that, though.
Why not?
You can't just hand it over.
Well, companies shouldn't have dumb policies.
I know, it's ridiculous. Anyways,
I can understand one of the policies which is super, super dumb. And I know there's a legal requirement, but there should be a whole set in there say, well, our company made the mistake, so we should be able to fix it instantaneously. You don't have to wait 5 days because that's some policy that we've decided is.
That was ridiculous. Anyways, enough about this. This isn't a Telstra podcast. Are you getting chillies?
I told you the winds would come up.
You did.
I've lived up here a little bit.
Have you?
Has you. Yes.
Good chilies. It was nicer before. It was nice before the wind came.
I
remember this happened when I came up here adventuring with the fellas. I was like, I think once that sun starts to drop a bit, it's going to get cold really quickly. And the fellas were just so happy sitting here having bevies, and I was like, sun's dropping, boys, and it's going to take us a little bit to walk back up this hill. We should start going, no, it's fine. I'm like, we should get going. They didn't listen to me, and then it was cold, and then they complained.
Yes,
no one listens to me.
Once we get to a certain time, especially if it's got a bit of warmth in the day, it'll get to a certain time in the day where the air here will start to lift because of the warmth and then drag air from, and that's when the cold wind starts happening.
weather tutorials with Peter.
Weather tutorials. We haven't done weather tutorials yet, have
No,
we?
we haven't. We haven't made small talk about the weather.
We haven't made small talk about the weather. Whether or not we do in the future is... Oh my God.
That was bad.
Just before I wrap up, I know I mentioned a little bit last week, and I am definitely going to put it in description again this week, the Emily Emrata's book. If there's any young models or any female models that are listening to, like her or hate her, you'll find her very confusing because, well, I mean, I love this, I hate this, I love this, I hate this. She's fighting herself the whole time, but it'll actually give you a little bit of a look into the problems a model has just with having her body the way she wants it and getting in front of a camera half naked or naked with that. And then the horrible things that happen to you. You trust people, and these people that you give them 100% trust, including agencies. And all of a sudden just, oh, I didn't think I signed that. Oh, well, just wear it. It's not too bad. Those type of things. I even said to Mika on the workshop, I said, I don't care if you like or hate it, you need to see this because listen to it, all of these things have happened. If she was a little bit more streetwise and wary of it, she would have been able to stop at least half of them from happening. And some of the stuff is just horrible, like really, really horrible. So, and stuff legals couldn't fix and...
Yeah, well, I'll leave a link to it below.
Leave a link to it.
Sorry, I've just heard you talk about these books.
I know, and you don't like you call her the emu. It's all right. She loves Paris Hilton. I think it's really sorry for Paris Hilton's had a really tough life, like so hard.
No, I just find it frustrating. Like, it's just so she sounds like, it just sounds frustrating.
But you don't know
look at me. Oh, no, don't look at me.
Oh, sorry, isn't that every model that walks into our studio?
No, not every model.
Or most?
No.
Well, I see it.
I find it frustrating.
Frustrating.
If you love this profession so much, then own it. Or own who you are. Don't be so hypocritical. It just sounds frustrating.
Sorry, you see it too often.
No, but
how many times?
Sits there and complains about herself, but then buys a massive painting of herself. Like, yes, I've got a giant painting of myself in my house. And I make the joke, I love me, who do you love? And she's like, oh no, I would break up with someone if he told me I was beautiful. Get real. That's frustrating. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. I'm sorry, that was really nasty.
It was really nasty because I even heard you say things like that yourself, so shut up.
Oh, I just find
There's
it
a lot of what she says I've seen you do. Right, so be quiet. All right, so from an outsider, even as a photographer, I think it's very interesting for you to understand how somebody's mind works, especially when they're coming into that modelling industry and their body is seen more important than their brain. And if they're 1% not happy with their body, but now have to be happy, someone's lifting a camera at it, and I don't know what they're going to do with the pictures. And oh my God, they used that picture. I'm going to die. You can't tell me you haven't had that moment.
Well, then don't be a model.
Well, you're not now, but some people still want to be the model.
Well, then work on your body and work on your mental health.
Oh my God. Sympathy. Oh my God.
Sorry.
All right, so my next couple of new models I work with, I'm just going to take on Bec attitude on them right from the second. Suck it up, girl. Here we go. That's what?
You told me that I've got to suck things up.
Yeah, I know, but I can't do what I did with you now.
I know. Well, this is why I'm more cutthroat, is because I was trained from a young age with that cutthroat mentality. That's why I'm like, suck it up.
Right, but I can't do that now. The world has changed.
No, the world's woke.
The world is woke, and the industry's a bit different. So, although no, some things are still the same, but there's a very small window for that work. But we were aiming for you to be Paris high-end court couture fashion. And in that world, nobody gives a shit what you think.
Exactly. That's why I'm
And
like...
if it's freezing cold, minus 10 degrees, and you're going to wear a bikini, you're going to wear a bikini and get rid of those goosebumps on your arms.
Yeah.
We cannot use that picture. Get rid of them.
And stylists are going to stand there and talk about how weirdly proportionate your arms are right in front of you, and you're just going to stand there and cop it. And the makeup artists are going to tell you that your face is fucked and they don't know what they're going to do with it. And like, you're just going to sit there and suck it up, and you're not going to have any emotion because you are a model. And you are a girl in a G-string, and that's all you are. You don't have emotions.
Well, that's the one thing the MRADA has pretty much pointed out herself, that you are a girl in a G-string. And it is...
They don't care.
It's your, as she said in
and
Paris,
if you don't like it, choose
model
another career
means
path.
mannequin. So, yeah. Anyway, we've raved. I hope you did. We were a bit heavier this talk. Maybe we need to be more fun on the next one.
We were fine. It was just that last little bit.
Last little bit.
Anyway.
Spangries. Oh, it was the cold. It was the wind that came up.
All right, we should stop this. Bye, guys.
See ya.